tomatoes, and milkweed. Peas. So as you can see, the granddogs are still here. They are waiting for their own home to get dried out. My daughter's been running around working. She took somebody to a doctor's appointment this morning. We were supposed to have lunch today, but it's delayed a little bit because the doctor's appointment took so long. And she has to go back home to make sure her apartment's dried out enough for her dogs to safely go back. Of course, she has to clean the floors too. So may or may not be dropping them off today and having lunch or dinner. So I did eat breakfast this morning, but I haven't eaten lunch yet. My daughter stayed at my house the night before last, and she brought food. She brought some leftovers from her lunch at work. She had a DoorDash from an Italian place, and she didn't want it, so I have her leftovers. I have bread, olive oil, seasonings to go with the olive oil for dipping. And I ate all the pasta. I had lunch and dinner off of that food she brought. It was a rigatoni crema or something. It was really good. It had chunks of sausage and mushrooms in a creamy sauce. So she also brought breakfast food and milk. So we drink the same kind of milk. So I have another half gallon, and I offered to pay for the food that she brought because she brought eggs and turkey bacon too. She didn't want any money. So I now have more eggs to last me through the end of the month, and turkey bacon and milk. So, yesterday because I ran out of my bread, I made some French bread. No, this was the day before. Yeah, it was the night before, well, the day before, kind of the night before. I started it in the late afternoon, and it took 5 hours in my bread machine. So this is the first time I made the French bread, and the booklet, the recipe book that came with the bread machine called for bread flour, but I just used all-purpose. I specifically baked it to make a grilled cheese sandwich, but the texture texture was rough on the roof of my mouth. You know, when you get that too hard bread and it tastes good, but it rips your mouth all up. Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of this. I mean, it's really good with butter. So I may just, instead of trying to toast it or grill it or something, I'll just eat it plain. I don't have any lunch meat or tuna fish or anything like that. I could make an egg sandwich one day for breakfast, I guess. I don't know how long that bread's gonna last, or for another meal. I guess I can make, I don't have to eat it for breakfast. Or I can make one of those where you put bread and then cut a hole in the middle and cook the egg in there and put cheese on top. That sounds really good. So my little daffodils are almost completely bloomed out except for this one in the middle. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see it. That one hasn't. I don't like the way they smell though. Yeah. Seed experiment, I still haven't planted those. I think I'm going to do those soon though, because they're looking a little rough. And I think I got a alfalfa sprouting the wrong thing. I guess I'm gonna plant these and stick them outside. There's 3 of them. And then I have to figure out where in the garden or yard I'm gonna put them this year. Made a little salad to tide me over. Still waiting to hear if my daughter's apartment's dried out or not. Well, I'm not taking the dogs back home. So apparently it's dry in my daughter's apartment, but it's not clean. They were supposed to come and disinfect everything, and they haven't done anything. So I told her she should probably call her building manager and find out specifically when they're coming and if they're going to do something about the dirty water under the floorboards, and to see if she can get out of her lease so she can go somewhere that's not going to make her and her dog sick. So it looks like I'm going to keep the dogs for now so she can get all that worked out. And now I have to figure out what I'm going to have for lunch, because we were supposed to have lunch today and that's not happening either. So I'm just thawing out some chicken noodle soup from the freezer since I had that little salad. So I'm debating whether or not to order some seed potato. I know I'm probably going to have some purple potatoes come up in the garden beds, because they always come back every year. But I kind of want some white potatoes also. So I guess I'm going to look around. I did look at some at one company, but the shipping fee was over $9. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. I would go to some local garden places, but I don't want to leave the dogs by themselves in my house, especially Dink. He got sick outside earlier. He vomited. So I don't know what's going on with him. Plus he has a tendency to tear things up, and he will sometimes use the bathroom in the house. My daughter thinks he has an anxiety thing going on, so yeah, I don't want to really leave them alone in my house at all. So I called last week, Friday, I think, Thursday or Friday. I called a plumber, and they told me they were going to call back when they had a time for somebody to come out and check my outside water spigot, and they never called me back. So I'm going to just look for somebody else, I guess. So I've had a totally unproductive day today. I had big plans. My daughter and I were gonna go out and have lunch. I think she's a little bit stressed right now, understandably. So I told her we would do it another time, and she could just get her apartment cleaned up. She had laundry and stuff to do, and she was going to get a hold of her landlord again, and they told her they were going to come and disinfect everything, and they still haven't done it, or hadn't done it. I haven't contacted her since this afternoon. I didn't want to keep bothering her, asking her what's going on, because that just adds to your stress. So I'm, me and the dogs were hanging out all day. And, yeah, didn't do a whole lot. I just got finished watching a movie on YouTube. I bought a rental and watched it on my computer, my laptop. So I just pulled these out of the freezer, my peanut butter cookie balls. I think I'm going to set a few out, maybe half of them, and bake them tonight. And then tomorrow, I don't know if the ground is going to be dry enough for me to work out there. It was still pretty wet today. I still have a lot of compost to get out in the garden. Been waiting for it to dry a little bit so I'm not walking in mud or moving muddy compost. So when I was out bringing my seedlings in, I found 3 cabbage worms on my, well, 2 were on cabbage plants and 1 was on this side of one of my lettuce plants. And I'm like, how can they already have cabbage moths out already? It hasn't been warm enough long enough. So I squished them all, and then I sprayed some insecticidal soap. I think it's a combo of 3 different things you can use on plants to kill bugs. It's supposed to be organic, so the little aphid things are back on some of my plants too. So tomorrow I'm gonna rinse them really good before I put them out again, so they can go get some more while they're sitting outside. It's constant bug battle in Kentucky. I don't know about anywhere else, but it's awful here. What are you looking guilty for, Butter? You look like you did something bad. She just walked through there, and they're both sleeping and laying on the couch, and Butter doesn't listen, so I'm not going to worry about it. So yeah, nothing exciting happening here. Things are blooming. That is kind of exciting. My peas, more of my peas are starting to shoot up in the garden. I'm also thinking about starting a couple of the sweet potato slips. I just put them in a pot or a tray of dirt and seedling mix basically, and let them start shooting up, and then I snip the slips off and put them in water, in a mug usually full of water, and until they start growing roots. I don't know, it might be a little early still for that. Well, it's almost the end of March. I might start that tomorrow. That way you can see what I do in case you've never done it before and you want to try. Yeah, might do that. So that's one thing I haven't bought. I would like to try other varieties of sweet potatoes. I've only tried a few different ones, but I keep thinking the slips get more and more expensive every time I go to buy them. And so I think 3 years ago, I just started saving some of the sweet potatoes and the smaller ones, and then just making my own slips so I don't have to buy them every single year. I've tried to do that kind of with potatoes, but last year I didn't save any seed potato in my garage like I had before. When I was digging around, digging a hole in some of the grow bags where the potatoes were a few weeks ago to put my kitchen scraps in, I did find some baby potatoes from last year still in there, not rotten. So I'm thinking those are going to come up, but most of those are purple varieties. So I also want to get some white ones, either some kind of russet potato or a Yukon Gold. So we'll see. I'll see what I can find. I'm hoping I can find something where the shipping cost isn't almost as much as the potatoes. So I'm going to go. Thank you all for watching. Take care. Bye.